welcome back to my channel. My name is Soraia, and if you are new here and you don't know what this A to Z of me is all about, basically a few years ago I started like a little series, if you want to call it, of A to Z subjects about me. So I would pick sort of 3 topics to do with the corresponding letter of the alphabet, and I would talk about some stories behind it, or you know, just some meaning behind that word or something like that. And today we are on the letter F, and the last time I uploaded one of these was a year ago, which I can't quite believe. It was quite difficult for me to actually come up with 3 topics for the letter F, so I've only got 2 to discuss with you today. Don't know if they're going to be interesting. If not, then obviously please don't feel like you need to watch this video, but I really want to get through to Z, whenever that may be. But before I get into this video, if you haven't watched any of my other videos from A to E, I will leave them linked in the description box below. I always will do that so that you guys can kind of watch the other ones if you want to. If not, let's get into this video now. First thing I'm going to talk about is fears. Now, we all have fears in our life, you know, whether it's big things, whether it's little things, whether it's things that we think aren't important. They are kind of important to us as individuals, and no matter how mundane they might feel, if we have a fear of something that somebody else doesn't have, we may feel like they will never understand why we're so scared of that particular thing. But I think it's important for us to talk about what we're scared of, especially with those that we love and who are very close to us. There might be some people who say they aren't scared of anything, they have no fears in life. I seriously wouldn't believe that someone doesn't have at least one thing that they fear in their lives, even if it's something as small as, you know, fearing being late to work or losing someone that you love. We all have something in our lives that we are afraid of. Now, for me, I have quite a list of things that I genuinely fear, and I have managed to kind of get over quite a few on this list that I'm going to discuss with you, and it just makes me feel like a sense of achievement in a way. To overcome a fear is a really, really big thing, and you should be really proud of yourself if you are able to overcome a fear of yours. Well, I've written all of these down, and I'm going to discuss my fears, and I'm going to obviously tell you which ones I have overcome in the last couple of years. My fears are spiders, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are scared of spiders, but I don't know, I just don't know where it comes from. My parents were never scared of spiders. I was never brought up around people that showed a fear of spiders. I've just always been terrified of them, and I know they're probably more scared of me than I am of them. I just don't know what it is. If somebody was to come up to me with a spider in their hand, I would genuinely cry with fear. If I see a spider in the room, me and my boyfriend actually laugh about this because I seem to have like spider vision. So sometimes we will be like laying together at night and it's, you know, dark in the room, and I will literally spot a spider on the ceiling or in the corner of a room. I find myself going into a room and literally scanning the whole room to make sure that there are no spiders on the ceilings, on the walls, on the floor. It's something that I wish I could have like hypnotherapy for, because it's something that I would love to not be scared of, and it's something that when I have my own children one day, I don't want to show or pass on that fear to them. But I know that if I'm ever home alone and there is a spider in the house, I just don't know what I'll do. If I know that there is one in the house, I can't sleep until it's either out of the house or it's been killed, which some people are gonna hate me for, but I literally, they just have to be gone. They just can't be in the house. I remember not too long ago, actually, I went to the bathroom to, you know, go to the toilet before going to sleep, and as I closed the bathroom door, there was a huge spider behind the door. And I mean, every spider to me is huge, but this one literally looked like a tarantula, and I panicked. Luckily, I had my phone on me, and my dad was downstairs in the living room, and I kid you not, I put the toilet seat down and I stood on the toilet seat because I did not want that spider to run towards me, because I would literally scream and cry. So I rang my dad and I said, can you please come up the stairs really gently, really quietly, and open the door to the bathroom slowly to kill this spider that's behind the door. And I obviously had to run out the room once he was in and not be there when he killed it. No, I don't know where this fear comes from, but it literally just makes me panic even thinking about spiders. So that is a fear that I have had for many years now, and like I said, I wish I could overcome the fear of spiders. Next thing is the ocean or deep water, and this is something that I don't want to say I've overcome, but because I'm an adrenaline junkie, I will do things that maybe a normal person with fears wouldn't do. Back in 2016, me and my boyfriend Alan went to Mykonos on our first couples holiday, and I had never ever done like any water sports or anything like that. We went out to do a water sport where you hold on to this like inflatable ring. Obviously you wear a life jacket and you're pulled by a speedboat on these rings across the ocean. And I asked the men who were putting our life jackets on, am I going to fall in the water? Like, is this going to cause me to fall into the water? And he was like, yes. And I just felt this sense of panic and dread inside, but I still went ahead and done the water sport, and I did fall off. I flew off this thing 3 times, and the first time I really panicked because obviously I went under the water, the life jacket brought me back up, but I had no idea where I was. I had to climb back onto this ring, and I thought, oh my god, I'm going to fall off again. And I did 2 more times, and I kid you not guys, the 3rd time I was like almost in tears, and I said to my boyfriend, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back to shore right now. This fear came from a few years ago when I was in secondary school. I was in the deep end of a swimming pool, and I was holding onto the side, and me and my friend who were there at the time, you know, we were going under the water and then coming back up. And I went down under the water and I could not come back up, and my dad had to jump in and pull me back up. And since that day, I've just had such a fear of deep water. If I can't stand up in a pool, or you know, if I'm in the ocean and I can't stand up, I literally panic. I'm not a very strong or confident swimmer either, which doesn't help, and I can't tread water, which doesn't help. So I've got this huge fear of the ocean. My boyfriend is the complete opposite. Like, he is very comfortable in the water, and he's tried to help me feel comfortable in the water, but I don't know what it is. I just really panic when I'm in the sea or in a pool and I can't stand up. I went to Ibiza 2 years ago, and for the first time ever I jumped off a cliff into the water, but I was wearing a life jacket because I was too scared that I wasn't going to come back up to the surface. And I did like a little, not scuba diving, but kind of scuba diving in Ibiza as well. And again, I had a life jacket on. I am comfortable in the water, but as long as I either have a life jacket on, or if I don't, then I know that I can stand up in the water. Next ones are ones that I have conquered my fear of, and I feel a lot more comfortable doing now than I did previously. The first one here is flying. So flying in a plane. I used to be really scared and get very anxious on a plane. Now I'm a lot better. This year I was meant to go on my first ever long haul flight, but COVID had other plans, so I didn't get to do that. But I think I would have been okay. Sounds really weird, but as long as I have like a window seat, and obviously if Alan is sat next to me holding my hand, I'm okay. I've never experienced going to the toilet on a plane, because once I sit down in my seat, I don't want to get up, and I usually like read a book or something like that when I'm on a flight, just so that the hours can kind of pass a little bit quicker for me. But another thing is traveling on the underground in London. I used to fear the underground so much, and I think it was because I felt really claustrophobic down there. Like, I don't like being in enclosed spaces, and being on the underground just made me feel really claustrophobic and panicky. Also, like being in big crowds, you know, surrounded by a lot of people. But now I can comfortably and proudly say that I can get on the underground on my own to and from places, and I feel a lot more comfortable with doing it. And yeah, that's another fear that I've managed to conquer. Another one which seems a little bit silly, but I used to be absolutely terrified of like lightning and thunder, whereas now I find it so calming, and I love to just like listen to the rain and hear the sound of the thunder, and it just makes me feel really relaxed. Whereas before I used to fear it so much. I used to have to like get into bed with my mum when it would start thundering, or you know, I would just have to hide under like a blanket or a duvet or something. I used to fear it so much, but now I don't mind it at all. This one is kind of silly as well, but it's not that I have a fear of this, but I don't necessarily like it, and it's change. Like, I don't like things to change too much in my life. I like things to be quite consistent and the same, and in the next coming months there is going to be quite a lot of change happening in my life, which I'm trying to stay really calm and collected about and see the positives in it, and you know, see, you know, the opportunities that it's going to bring me. But at the same time, I'm just so nervous and anxious about all the change that's going to be happening. I'm not going to touch on it too much in this video, but yeah, change is something that I also don't deal very well with, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fear of mine. And the last thing on my list, which is again something that might sound really silly, but I've had this fear for a few years now, and I think it's because it's the unknown. Fear of death or dying. I don't want this video to obviously get really morbid or to affect anybody or anything like that, but I fear death so much, to the point where if I start to think about it too much, I start to have like a panic attack. I start to get, my heart starts to race, I start to feel sick, I start to feel really upset, and like, I don't know, like I'm feeling it right now. It's weird. I just fear it so much, like just the idea of like passing away and never coming back, like not being on this planet. Like it's a really weird topic to speak about, and like I said, I like to avoid it at all costs. And if you are someone who is religious and you believe in like the afterlife and things like that, I mean, I'm Catholic and I try as much as I can to believe that there is something after we pass away, but at the same time I don't want to think about it too much, because it does cause that huge panic in me. And yeah, I don't know, I don't like to talk about it. So yeah, but that is probably one of my biggest fears besides spiders. rambled on too much about fears, but the next thing I'm going to talk about is family. Now, I have quite a big family. I obviously live with my parents and my sister at the moment, and my mum is one of 8 children and my dad is one of 3 children. My family sort of live in Portugal because that's where I was born, so most of my family is in Portugal. I do have members of family spread across the world in like Switzerland, in Luxembourg, in France. I have like one cousin that lives here in the UK, but that's about it. On my mum's side, I have 17 first cousins. 17. Obviously, they have children as well, so I have second cousins too. And from my dad's side, with him being one of 3 children, I have 5 first cousins. So there are 6 grandchildren on my dad's side in total. I'm the eldest on my dad's side, and yeah, there is 5, well, I say 5, there's actually 4 cousins because I'm counting 5 as my sister, and obviously she's not my cousin. So yeah, four cousins on my dad's side. The reason I wanted to talk about family is because some people are very family orientated and some people aren't. Some people have small families, some people have big families, some people have blood related families, some count people who aren't blood related as their family. But I've always been a really family orientated person. When my maternal grandparents were still alive, sadly they passed away a few years ago, but when they were still alive, they owned a farm in Portugal. In August, during the summer holidays, we would all reunite there and you know, have like lunches and dinners together outside in the heat, and it was just so nice to like be with family. And you know, we were all, you know, sort of always really close to one another. Obviously we'd have our little misunderstandings, as families always do, but I have so many home videos of those times and those memories to look back on. The same with my dad's side of the family. Because of his side of the family being a lot smaller, it was a lot easier for us all to get together at my paternal grandparents' house. And yeah, I just love looking back on all the memories of like different weddings and christenings that we'd go to in the summer, just different events that we'd all experience together. And you know, it was just, I just love the idea of bringing up my own family. Obviously it's something that me and Alan have spoken about. You know, we do want to have children and start our own family one day. Family just means so much to me, and I consider some of my friends as family. You know, my best friend Sarah, I consider her as like a sister. It's my family because we've been friends for so many years now, and I'm her daughter's godmother. And you know, there's other people that you know, in my sort of friends that I consider as family, and they're not blood related. But obviously Alan and his parents, I consider them as family as well. And yeah, I just think whoever you consider as family, whether they are blood related or not, you know, keep them really close to your heart and appreciate all the times that you have with them. This was kind of like a deep and emotional video, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. You know, I do enjoy making these videos. Let me know if you did enjoy it, and I will see you next time with the letter G. Hopefully that won't be in a year's time, hopefully a lot sooner than that. But I will see you guys soon with another video.